welcome back to my channel. My name is Selenia for those who do not know, and in today's video I wanted to do a video all about tips on how to make orientation the best time for you when you are starting a new RN job or you're starting any medical job, I feel, because everyone is kind of on orientation. So I just want to give you a few tips and all of that good stuff. So if that's a video that you want to watch, you obviously read the title, but let's get into this video. All right, so I have my little notebook here that has all of my 10 tips that I feel like would be like the best for you to be in orientation as an RN, because that's obviously what this video is about. But if you want a little bit of background on me, I have a whole life update about where I am in my life right now. So I'll probably link it up whatever side that it's supposed to be on. But I am a previous NICU level 3 nurse. I did that for about a year and 3 to 4 months, and I ended up moving states, which I'm pretty much giving you the whole video, but I ended up moving states and I need to start a new job. So I am now currently in a NICU level 4. So I went from like being my own RN to like running my own day to now being back to being an orientee and following someone and learning the ropes and doing all of that good stuff. So I figured between my first orientation and this orientation now in a NICU level 4, I wanted to give tips because sometimes orientation can definitely be kind of tough, if you know what I mean. So I just want to try to give you a little bit of tips. So here are my 10 tips, starting with tip number 1, which they're obviously in no order, but I was just writing them down and this is just how they kept flowing to me. So tip number 1 is having an open mind and a friendly attitude. I feel like being as positive as you can definitely gets you very far in life. If you're able to be positive, that is the best thing to do. Coming with an open mind, like, things are going to be a little bit different than your old hospital. So you just need to keep an open mind. Patients are going to be different. If you're getting a higher acuity, or if you're getting more difficult patients or patients that are much more sick, you just need to keep an open mind and being open to learning and being, I keep saying open, but be able to bounce back and being open to new things. A friendly attitude would also be good because you don't know anyone on the unit unless you do. If you switch jobs, you can be with your best friend, great for you, but none of my best friends are a nurse, or I make friends like while I'm at the hospital. But just having a friendly attitude, keeping an open mind, just being a nice, bubbly person. You got the job, or if that's your personality, being nice and bubbly. Don't be fake now. Like, don't do too much. Like, if it's not you, you're not gonna be able to put on a front for that long. But if you are able to make the most of it, being friendly, usually if you're friendly to people, they'll be friendly to you back. It's kind of odd being someone new where everyone knows each other and you don't. So trying to put yourself out there just a little bit, not too much because people are crazy, but putting yourself out there just a little bit, I feel could be a big help with orientation, because if you're nice and open, I'm sure people would want to help you more, especially when you have those tough assignments or you have those questions. And it's kind of sad that that's what you have to do, but you gotta do what you gotta do for not only yourself, but your patients as well. All right, tip number 2 would be, if you had a previous job beforehand, try not to compare it and like use the words "at my old job, where I last worked, this is what we did." Because listen, you're somewhere else, they obviously don't do it like that. It's time to learn what they are actually doing. Maybe you could mention it a few times or there, and kind of, if you feel like it is for the best interest of the patient, maybe talk to them about it. But if it's protocol wise and that is at their hospital, that's something that you are just going to have to do, because you got to make sure that you're following protocols and all of their policy and procedures. So where I am, it's currently very different from where I last worked, but I'm trying to hold my tongue and be like, at my last job, this is what we did. At my last job, this is what we did. Like, you're not there anymore. So it does not matter what another hospital does unless it is like best practice, and maybe you can bring some policy, procedures, some evidence-based practice to your managers or things like that on the way that you did it, if you feel like that is the best way. But everyone has their own way of doing things. Just make sure you follow the policy and procedure of that new hospital that you are going to. And especially repeating yourself about "at my old job" is going to get very irritating for other people if they're trying to teach you and you keep trying to remember what you did previously, if that kind of makes sense. If you want to do it, but only a little. Don't go too crazy with reminiscing at your old place. All right, tip number 3 would be to make friends with your PCAs, your techs, your RTs, other nurses. They obviously know a lot more than you, right? They know a lot more than you because they've been there longer than you. Whether they were there a day before you, they still know more than you. So it's especially important, especially with those who help you and make your day a lot easier, being nice to them. Everyone has a job, and everyone's job is vital and important in the healthcare system, or any job in general. Like, all these jobs make the world go round, whether you think that it's valuable or not. So make sure that you're nice to everyone. Everyone has bills to pay. Everyone wants to probably be the best employee or be the best person that they can be at their job. So making the day easier for them by being nice. Make sure that you're genuine to them. I just feel like that's something that we really have to work on, especially with like the hierarchy of the whole hospital system. So make sure you are nice to everyone that you have, because they are here to help and they can make your day a lot easier. I never had a PCA in a NICU before, and just me being on my orientation for these last couple of weeks, they are so vital and so helpful. They are able to make your day so much better. So make sure you keep them close and you're actually nice to them, because they do a lot. They do a lot, okay? All right, number 4 would be to be on time to work. This is a very self-explanatory tip, but make sure you're on time. It looks good. Your first day, make sure you are getting there on time. So where I work, I'll give you a little story time real quick in here. Where I work, you have to take a shuttle to get to work because there's a lot of hospitals all over, right? And you can't park really, really close unless you want to pay more money. My first day of actually going to the unit, I was waiting for the shuttle because that's what you have to do. I am new there. I had no idea what I was doing. Everyone seemed like they knew where they were going, but I didn't see anybody during this time. So I waited at a shuttle stop, and I found out that the shuttle stop did not come. So I waited about 15 minutes. I had to decide 20 minutes before I needed to be there if I was going to walk it or if I was going to wait for the shuttle. It was a 20-minute walk, and mind you, I live somewhere where it is hot as heck. It was like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and it was humid. It started drizzling at the end, but I took it upon myself. Instead of being extra late, waiting that the shuttle would come, I decided to take a nice little 20-minute stroll. Said I'm gonna hit my exercise ring on my Apple Watch and it's going to be okay. So I kept a positive attitude with it, and literally I made it right in the nick of time because they were waiting for me, ready to orientate me to the unit and meet my manager, all of that good stuff. So trying to put on a good front. Being late and not being on time, I feel like, is one of the rudest things that you can do, because people's times are important. People's time is important, not just your own, but others as well. So being on time to work, and I bet you after that day, I figured out the shuttle system because I want to be on time, but I'm not about to walk 20 minutes every single day to get to work with my hair looking crazy and me being out of breath right before shift. So that was just a little story time, but making sure you are there on time and ready to start your day. All right. Number 5 would be to get a notebook to write down your notes, write down these things that you don't think that you're going to remember, write down protocols, write down everything that you feel like you need to know. You're able to reference it until you get a hang of everything, because after a while you're going to know and you're not going to need to reference the policy procedures, how to do this, what are the steps of this, how to change lines, what's their protocol, how to add medications, how to chart, all of that good stuff. But I just feel like writing down all of your notes will be great so you can look back on them, because I feel like I did that, bringing this little notebook around everywhere. I did that and it has been so helpful. I'm like, okay, what did that one nurse that I was working with say? What did they say again? And all I gotta do is turn back in my pages and be like, oh, that's how I chart that. And make sure you get everything throughout the day. That is very vital. Have a handy dandy little notebook. If they let you bring them on the unit, sometimes they don't let like books and binders and stuff just because of infection prevention, but if you can, I definitely suggest it, or just bringing a scratch piece of paper and writing down things that your orientators are saying. All right, number 6 would be to complete all of the modules that your job assigns you and actually doing them and paying attention to them. So I know that hospitals definitely give you so many doggone modules to complete. I think for my orientation, I have like 100. And I have to come in on my free time to complete them. But I need to know all of those things in the modules. They give them to you for a reason. And I started realizing how important they were when I was doing the modules one day that I was in the computer lab for a very long time. And I went to work and the things started flowing together. I'm like, oh, I know how to do this. Oh, it's easy. Let me just do whatever I gotta do. You know what I mean? Just start putting in all the buttons that I need to click because I'm like, oh, I literally just saw this. Or I had to do a central line checkoff. One of the modules, they had me look at how to do the central line. If I didn't pay attention to that video, I wouldn't have known how to do it in front of all those people who wanted me to show them that I know what I'm doing. So those modules are important. I know they seem like they're horrible because sometimes they are, but they are very important to have a lot of important knowledge in them. So if you're at a point where you just can't focus anymore, take a break, because something in those modules you are going to use when you are on the floor, and you want to look like you know what you're doing because they give them to you for a reason. All right, number 7 would be to ask for different experiences. If you feel like you are getting the same type of patients over and over on your orientation, you're not getting those hard critical babies that you need to learn, ask one, how does your orientation schedule flow? Like, what type of patients do I get first? Do we work on getting more critical, complex patients? How does that work? Because to be honest, your orientation is what you make it. You need to be an advocate for yourself. You need to ask for those experiences, because the people who are orientating you already know what to do, which is why they're an orientator most of the time. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But most of the time, they know most of their stuff. But you have to make the most of your orientation, because once you're off orientation, yes, you can ask people questions, but if you got some type of patient that you have like never ever had before, and you're there all by yourself with them, and you just need to keep calling charge all day, maybe it would have been nice for you to ask, are there any situations that aren't here that often that I may be able to get that patient while they are here? That is really important, because once you're on your own, you're pretty much on your own. Yes, you do have some help, but I don't think they're going to be able to be at the bedside with you all of the time. And another thing, which is probably another tip, but if you feel like you haven't gotten enough experience yet for you to be on your own, tell somebody that, because patients' lives are at risk, your sanity is at risk. You don't want to go to work every day feeling like you know nothing. Now when you get off of orientation, are you going to be the most confident person ever? Probably not. And if you are, good for you, but probably not. You're probably not going to feel the most confident person ever. But if you feel like you haven't seen as many experiences as you want to see, and you haven't gotten that admission, or you haven't done a discharge, you haven't had a very complex patient, then literally ask, because it's better that you ask and be safe than for you to be sorry and, God forbid, lose your nursing license or lose something because you are not doing something right. Advocate for you, because you are the most important person after orientation. All right, number 8 would be to ask questions when you think of them. I know a lot of times people don't like to seem like they don't know certain things, but it is important to ask questions. Again, no one wants to lose their license after they go to school and pay all this money to go to school and to go to nursing school and to take the NCLEX and to apply for these jobs and to literally do all of that. So you need to definitely ask questions when you feel like you need to. Make sure you pick a right time. If it's like a super critical baby or a critical patient and they're coding, maybe it's not the time to ask, how do I chart this so-and-so? But it would be good to ask all of the questions that you want. Write them down in your doggone notebook so you know, because you're just open to learning. It's a new environment for you, and sometimes you don't know things. It is okay to not know things. Number 9 kind of goes with number 8, would be to ask for clarity, especially when there's something that they go over quickly or you don't understand. Ask for clarity just so you know. It could just be a follow-up, or it could just be repeating what they say. But however you learn, that is the best way to get through orientation. So they say X, Y, Z, and you repeat back to you. So I heard X, Y, and Z. Is that correct? That's asking for clarity. And also at the end of your shift, double checking your charting. A lot of the times I feel like when you're on orientation, the nurse feels like they don't have to worry about the charting at all because you're there, but you're obviously new, you may miss some things. Ask for double checking, because it's your name that's pretty much on the charting. Yes, they're overseeing you, but it's you doing it, and you don't want to miss anything, or you don't want to chart anything incorrectly. So make sure you ask them to double check, because it only takes a little bit of time. Right, and then the last tip, which I feel is just something that is important, is to make friends other than the people that are on your unit, because sometimes you need a break. So it's really nice to have other people who do not work on your unit, so you're able to express some of your feelings, not gossip like crazy, but just have someone from a different perspective help you with your day-to-day life, get some insight on other units. Maybe that's a unit that you'll like eventually, but I just feel like having what is this called, like a peer relationship or something like that, that maybe you're able to get lunch with them or just be able to get off the unit, and maybe you guys are able to line up your 30-minute break. However that works, I feel like would be nice, just so you have a person that is there for you, or multiple people that are just able to give a different perspective and just provide a little bit of a different time, if you kind of know what I mean. Instead of just, obviously you're gonna have your friends, or hopefully, I don't know, or if that doesn't matter to you, you're gonna have friends on your unit, but it would be nice to have friends on other units too, just so you can get a little bit of everything. So I know that this was a long video, but I kind of wanted to explain and go into detail about why I had these 10 tips. If you have any tips that you think would be great for people who are in orientation like myself or other people watching this video, make sure you leave them down in the comments. But the number one thing I feel like is communication, and then the second thing is having a positive attitude and going from there. So I really hope that this helped you guys. Make sure you guys check out more of my videos. I love making nursing content videos, especially sit-down videos. So if you have any content ideas too, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And best of luck to everyone who is in nursing school. They are in a different nursing program. They are a new nurse, a retired nurse, a nurse that's currently practicing, all that good stuff. Thank you for doing what you do, because us nurses are awesome. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot toot. All right, bye beautiful.